maybe a slightly slower start, but you guys seemed to recover well and compete throughout that game. Maybe the end of the second quarter, I think, was maybe if you had to pick any sort of turning point, maybe that was it. But just overall, how do you think your team competed again against a very good team like Oklahoma City without several key guys?
Yeah, I think the competitiveness was up to where we needed to be as a group. I thought everybody kind of at different moments gave us some physicality, gave us some toughness. I thought the communication was like really good, really positive. And then the game plan execution. For the most part, I know in that first half, Gilgis Alexander, I think maybe had one or two free throws. And as a team, like we had kind of limited their free throws, so I thought we did a good job of defending without fouling, knowing how much they're going to play isolation and force some switches. I think that our rotations defensively, like trying to hit and get the ball out of Alexander and Williams' hands, and our guys' rotations were really good. I thought in that first half, just kind of give credit a little bit to Wiggins and to Joe in terms of like hitting a couple, or Jalen Williams, I should say, hitting a couple threes versus our shift activity. And they kind of just made us pay for trying to give extra attention to Gilgis Alexander and Williams. But again, all the effort we gave defensively, we get great stops, and then it's just like going the other way. How do we not have the ball dribble off somebody's foot or transition, just kind of converting some of those buckets? And then, again, just trusting the pass. I felt like when we have possessions where the ball sticks, whether or not we're tired or just trying to play ISO, like when we get to second actions, third actions, we're really tough to guard, especially when you throw in the ability to drive and get a piece of the paint and then trust the pass.
And real quick, you talked a little bit about the paint scoring at the beginning of the game. It seemed like you guys did a really good job of attacking the basket a lot. I think you had 13 free throw attempts maybe in the first quarter or so, and putting Hartenstein in some foul trouble. Was that something that you guys were intentionally trying to do, just attacking the basket, especially, when some of those longer shots weren't falling right off the bat?
Yeah, I think the goal is definitely to try to put Hardenstein in some pick and rolls, knowing where his center field coverage is, and he can be up the floor, and we can hit the seam, and from the seam now you're making reads and ability to either finish in the paint or kick out for some open shots. I thought that Josh Green, off the top of my head, Josh Green, I thought did a great job with his quick decision drives in terms of he was either shooting it, he was driving it, he had a great little like quick crossover and then kick out to somebody else, or his drives all together to the basket were great. But when we have that quick decision mindset of attack the paint, attack their closeouts, we're really dangerous.
During your introductory press conference, you mentioned how you don't want to mimic a team's playing style if you don't have the right personnel to do it. But when you look at the Thunder and they're cutting at the right times and they're limiting those self-inflicted wounds you talk about, do you kind of look around the league and try to pick and choose what other teams are doing and try to implement that into your game as well?
Yeah, there's definitely. I think we have I think the talent level is at a good place in the NBA. I think the talent level from a player standpoint, but also coaches. I admire a lot of coaches in this league and what they run. But you definitely have to find the things that just make sense for your team and what fits your personnel and where you are during the year and what you think you guys can grasp. But I think that in terms of trying to take different styles, like for sure, like we're all, I think, trying to grow and be better, and the part of growing is you got to be able to evolve with the game. And so I think our guys have done a great job in terms of like being open-minded to the new stuff we are trying to introduce to them. I think the coaching staff is always bringing good and fresh ideas from their diverse experience, and then also from some of what we're seeing in the league. But I think too, by watching other teams, it puts you in a better spot too, game plan wise, to understand how are they trying to attack you.
Pre-game, you mentioned Melo, Brandon had a little bit of soreness. I guess Cody as well. Just what can you say about them and why they didn't play tonight, if anything?
Yeah, I think that just some of their nicks and bruises from that Washington game that weren't as comfortable as we were hoping that they were going to be. And those nicks and bruises were just, I think, in a little bit of a I don't want to say worse, but just not in a good place for them to be able to go out and play tonight. And so tonight after the game, we will continue to work with them and treat them and then figure out what the game plan is going forward.
You talked about Mark Williams kind of ramping up now. It's my understanding he's back now. He had a double-double tonight. First time coming back. What have you seen from him since returning to the court?
Yeah, the thing that I've really liked the last couple games is especially offensively, like he just gives us another dimension to be able to play through him, whether it's, as a passer, as a screener. I think that he's already shown that he can finish at the rim, and so he's a great luxury for our guys when they're playing pick and roll or when they're driving. He does a great job of spacing and then being able to catch the ball and finish. He's also, again, just made some really good decisions when he has been in the paint, whether it's to kick out too. Defensively, we've tried to move him around, and it's been different matchups, and I think he's still on that end of the floor trying to find his rhythm and his timing. There's still some times where he's in the right spot. He sees the guy going to shoot it, and it's like, we got to block that shot, or we got to alter that shot so, Kispert's not spinning and finishing. Or today, there was probably another guy. But, there's just too many of those possessions, and how do we just get his timing in a better place, I think. But it's going to come from reps. And so I see it in small doses, and he's just got to be able to sustain it.
Charles, you've been on the other end of this, winning a lot of games in your coaching career. How do you handle, what do you say to the guys when you're in a stretch where you lost 15, 16?
Yeah, I think the message is we got to be obsessed with daily improvement. I think that some of adversity is evident in life and in basketball, and it's going to happen. And so we just have to be prepared to handle it the best that we possibly can. And I think that the mindset that we come to work with every day, the mindset for every game, the competitiveness, the togetherness is just important to withstand. And everyone's journey is different. And there's no there's no quit in this team. And there's a ton of fight, which is what I love. Because that's what it's going to take. Nobody's going to feel sorry for us. Life doesn't feel sorry for you. The world keeps spinning, and so you got to figure out, how do I just kind of reset, refocus, and come with the right kind of attitude to try to make a change. And a lot of that has got to be your actions.
Coach, January 5th is when rosters can sign 10-day players. If you guys were to add 10 days, what would you look for to fill some of the roster holes on the team?
Yeah, I think that's an ongoing conversation that we'll continue to have and evaluate from our team. Jeff and I are usually lockstep with what we think the team needs, and so at the appropriate time, we'll kind of think through those things.